Episode 102.
A few days prior, the McAllister Club was abuzz with excitement. Its popularity had skyrocketed since its inception, especially in Andover Province, where it had become a symbol of prestige for entrepreneurs. Mr. Scott understood the significance of membership in the club, recognizing that its value transcended mere monetary wealth. The McAllister Club had quickly gained recognition, its allure extending far beyond the confines of Hillwood. For many entrepreneurs, membership was a coveted honor, a testament to their status in the business world. Yet Mr. Scott knew that the club's establishment served a more clandestine purpose, a means to confront an unseen adversary. Damon's strategic intent behind founding the club: to covertly challenge the other heirs of the powerful Serafino family. With hundreds of potential successors worldwide, and at least 3 within the country, Damon sought to undermine their influence through subtle manipulation and strategic alliances. Damon's ambition was clear: to outmaneuver his rivals without ever revealing his hand. And as the crowd clamored for membership cards, Mr. Scott realized the true extent of Damon's power. The competitive fervor reached its peak as the membership cards were scattered on the ground. Mr. Scott, undeterred, dove for the coveted prize, a triumphant grin spreading across his face as he retrieved it. But his victory was short-lived as Damon intervened, shattering Mr. Scott's illusion of triumph.
I'm sorry, Mr. Scott. This card requires an introduction. Without it, it's useless to you.
Mr. Scott's triumph turned to rage, his face contorted with fury.
Fuck, are you kidding me?
Not at all. But you, Mr. Scott, aren't worth the effort to deceive?
The reality of his defeat hit Mr. Scott like a ton of bricks, and his pride crumbled in the face of Damon's unyielding confidence.
So what do you say, Mr. Scott? Shall we begin the race?
Even though Damon was talking about the race at hand, however, a deeper implication resounded: of the race to win Hillwood. There was no point of even pretending anymore. Before the race had started, Damon already won.
Damon, you've won.
With a heavy heart, Mr. Scott conceded defeat, knowing that resistance was futile against Damon's overwhelming strength. The gap between them was too vast, and to defy him would be to court his enmity. Reluctantly, Mr. Scott bowed his head in submission, acknowledging Damon's superiority. In doing so, he earned Damon's favor and gained access to a vast network of influential allies. At least half of the people got access to Damon's exclusive card. As the dust settled, Damon's aura of dominance remained unchallenged. His victory solidified not only on the racetrack, but in the corridors of power. And for Mr. Scott, there was a begrudging admiration for the man who had bested him. An admiration tempered by the knowledge that Damon's ascent had only just begun. A different scenario brewed at the foot of Hillwood Springs Mountain, where Naomi arrived in a frenzy, determined to catch up with the GTR. However, her efforts were thwarted when she realized she's taken the wrong route. Naomi's frustration mounted as she realized she veered off course, her hopes of catching up to the GTR dashed by the driver's navigation blunder.
What a joke.
Meanwhile, Lola, Naomi's companion, checked her phone and delivered a startling revelation.
Miss Sullivan, it seems we don't need to go to Hillwood Springs Mountain anymore.
Why?
Lola's expression darkened as she delivered the news.
The race is already over. There's not just one GTR tonight. Reports say that there are 5 helicopters with other luxury sports cars.
Naomi's disbelief was palpable as she grappled with the magnitude of the situation.
This is too much. Who's creating all this ruckus?
But Lola had more troubling news to share.
And there's something else, miss. Remember the McAllister Club? It was buzzing with activity the last few days.
Naomi's anxiety spiked at the mention of the club, knowing full well the implications of her pending membership application. Even after passing everything diligently, her application was still under review. Naomi's mind raced with worry, knowing that her family's status hinged on her acceptance into the exclusive club. The pressure mounted as Lola delivered a sobering update on the events unfolding at Hillwood Springs Mountain.
It's rumored that the person at Hillwood Springs Mountain tonight is a high-ranking member of the club, and he's handed out membership cards without any conditions, inviting over 100 people to join.
Naomi's regret grew as she realized the missed opportunity, wishing she had stayed behind to pursue membership rather than chasing after that GTR. As Naomi grappled with the implications of her choices, she couldn't help but wonder if she missed her chance to secure a coveted position within the elite ranks of the McAllister Club.
If I were at the mountain at the right time, I might have gotten the exclusive membership.
The night at Hillwood Springs Mountain buzzed with energy, yet one man stood alone, his face a mask of darkness and frustration. Amidst the revelry of Hillwood Springs Mountain, one figure stood apart, his mood as stormy as the night sky. Mr. Scott's thoughts swirled with resentment and disbelief.
How could one man wield such wealth and power? Also, if he were that famous, he could have gotten any A-list model. Why go out with a newbie like Tiffany?
As Mr. Scott descended the mountain, he received a chilling phone call that shattered his world. The call was from the producer of Glory Film Production.
Sorry to inform you, Mr. Scott, but you have been removed from the board of directors of the production company.
Why? What have I done?
The voice on the other end delivered a blunt truth that sent chills down Mr. Scott's spine.
You've actually not done anything wrong work-wise, but you've offended someone from the McAllister Club.
Mr. Scott was left reeling. His mind raced with questions. How could Damon hold such sway? Desperate for guidance, Mr. Scott sought solace in a mysterious villa, where he pleaded his case to a trusted ally.
Brother, I've been ousted. I need your help.
The mysterious man was about to sleep when Mr. Scott showed up. He got up from the bed and wore his gown.
Why are you bothering me at such an hour? The incident better be good.
Mr. Scott's distress was palpable as he recounted the betrayal he suffered at Damon's hands.
I have been fired. You are aware of my handwork. I even invested heavily in the entertainment industry because of you. Firing me would mean a slap to your face. You have to do something.
Mr. Scott knew that without Glory Film Production, he was nothing. It wasn't just the money that he would lose, but also his influence and power over the celebrities. Hence, he wanted to redeem himself.
Who fired you?
Damon Hemsworth.
The revelation sent shockwaves through the room as Mr. Scott's ally struggled to comprehend Damon's influence. The mystery man was Simon Jones.
Damon, from McAllister Resorts?
Mr. Scott nodded, his voice filled with anguish.
He fired me. He even handed out membership cards to the McAllister Resort. I'm ruined without the Glory Film Production. You have to help me.
How many membership cards were given?
Hundreds!
Simon's mind raced as he grappled with the gravity of the situation. He looked at applications of the rejected members on his table as he clenched his fist.
Mr. White, what happened? Help me out from this and I shall be your servant forever.
Mr. Scott was shocked to see the worried face of one of the powerful men he knew.
Is it Damon's strength that he is afraid of? Even the Whites were not able to get a membership in the resort.
He thought to himself.
We must tread carefully. Damon's power is vast, and his reach extends far beyond our imagination. What else can you do? Apologize.
Despite his own fears, Simon knows what must be done.
You must apologize, and more. Kneel before Damon until he forgives you.
Mr. Scott's shock was palpable, his pride wounded by the humiliating prospect of apology.
Apologize, but I've done nothing wrong. I was just doing what I could for Tiffany. I was just teaching her some basic theories.
Mr. Scott could understand why people were afraid of Damon, but even Simon, from the prestigious Jones family, was scared. Listening to his name was shocking to him. Yet, faced with the looming threat of Damon's wrath, Mr. Scott knew he had no choice but to obey.
Just apologize to him. This is the address of Damon's University. Go there and publicly apologize until he forgives you. Otherwise, he won't just come after you, but will ruin your entire family.
Very well. I'll do as you say.
And as Mr. Scott departed, a sense of foreboding hung heavy in the air, for Damon's power was unmatched, and those who dared to cross him would do so at their own peril. Mr. Scott's resolve wavered as he knelt outside Hillwood University, a symbol of his humiliation at the hands of Damon Hemsworth. Yet, he knew he couldn't afford to defy the powerful forces aligned against him. If Simon was afraid of him, Mr. Scott would do whatever it takes. As he wrestled with his anger, a luxury car pulled up, and a wealthy-looking man emerged, offering assistance.
Mr. Scott, why are you kneeling here?
The man extended an umbrella as a gesture of goodwill and urged him to reconsider his actions.
It's not dignified for a man to kneel like this. Come, let's talk in the courtyard.
But Mr. Scott remained steadfast, his mind consumed by thoughts of retribution.
Can't you see I'm busy? Please don't bother me.
Undeterred, the man made a tempting offer, dangling the prospect of restoring Mr. Scott's position within the Glory Group.
Mr. Scott, if you help us, we can restore your status as a shareholder. We may even offer you ownership of the entire company. All we ask is a simple favor in return.
Mr. Scott's curiosity piqued. He hesitated before posing a pointed question.
Do you know the force against which I am dealing with?
Oh, you don't have to worry about that. We have some strong people backing us.
How strong is your backing?
With a knowing smile, the man unveiled the true extent of their influence.
Allow me to enlighten you, Mr. Scott. Our connections run deep within the McAllister Club. With our support, anyone could ascend from silver to gold membership, granting them the power to recommend others. And I wonder if someone would recommend your name in the list.
The revelation left Mr. Scott reeling. His mind raced with possibilities. As he contemplated the offer before him, he realized that aligning himself with such formidable allies could be his ticket to redemption. Yet, the allure of power comes with its own set of risks, and he must weigh his options carefully before making a decision that could alter the course of his destiny.